Hey, good morning, friends. Today is Tuesday, November the 19th, 2024, and the time now is 7:35 a.m. So, friends, I want to provide a brief comment or a brief information concerning the situation in Ukraine. And I'm talking specifically about the war between Ukraine and Russia, or the war between the West, led by the United States, against Russia in Ukraine. The war in which they are using Ukrainian bodies and Ukrainian soil with Western bullets and munitions and money to fight the Russians. Of course, by now, it is certain that the war in Ukraine has nothing to do with Ukraine. Yes, it is being fought in Ukraine. However, it has a lot to do with Ukraine because Ukraine and Russia are neighbors and two entities that were part of the Soviet Union. Also, two entities that have very strong tradition or historical ties going way back. Now, in terms of the war itself, I mentioned a couple of seconds ago that it has nothing to do with Ukraine. Yes, the war it is being fought in Ukraine. However, it is a war between the West, led by the United States, against Russia. Ukraine is only being used in this context because the West doesn't want to face Russia, doesn't want to fight Russia. Yes, the West can defeat and destroy Russia as much as Russia can defeat and destroy the West. However, should the West go fight the Russians, they are going to be in for a devastation, especially in a war in which Russia did not attack the West first. In this case, the momentum and the morale will be in the favor of the Russians. Now, friends, you are watching the playlist series, The Trends and Headlines in Geopolitics, and this is episode 20. Once again, friends, you are watching the playlist series, The Trends and Headlines in Geopolitics, and this is episode 20. If you haven't, please subscribe to this channel. Please share the link to this video with your friends and your family. Please share the links to the other videos with your friends and your family. And also, friends, please share the link to this channel with your friends and your families. I want to thank you for being a member of the Echoing Voice community, and I also want to thank you a lot for watching the Echoing Voice. Now, my friends, the war in Ukraine has approached the 1000th day since the war started in February of 2022. So far, it is said that the Russians are grinding their way deeper into Ukraine. However, as much as and as long as Ukraine is being destroyed and people are dying, whether we are talking about civilians and combatants on both sides, the propaganda continues, especially in terms of how the West view this war. Now, I came across an article which is from the AP, the Associated Press, and the title of the article reads, Russia grinds deeper into Ukraine after 1,000 days of grueling war. Once again, the title reads, Russia grinds deeper into Ukraine after 1,000 days of grueling war. Now, this article is basically pointing to the fact that the war has come a long way and that the war now has approached the 1,000th day. However, the article is similar to other articles in that it seems to praise Ukraine, which, yes, they should, because in this case, it is obvious that we are seeing a war between the West and Russia. So Western media outlets are part of the propaganda. They are part of the situation. But the article also seemed to be stressing the whole idea that the Russians are losing. The article stressed that there are thousands of North Korean troops into the Kursk region trying to help Russia to man the region and so on. Now, recently I heard a social media influencer who is also one of the observers and commentators on the war in Ukraine, who mentioned that if it was indeed that there are thousands of North Korean troops in Russia or in Ukraine, in the region, helping the Russians, the West would have at least tried to engage the Russians into an all-out war. And this guy is saying that what we are seeing is just projection. It is just the West line. However, friends, whatever the case may be, The war in Ukraine has now reached the 1000th day and people are dying, but so far it seems as if the West is not trying to end the war. Yes, Donald Trump has made hints that he is going to end the war in Ukraine, but then my question is, on what context? How is he going to end the war in Ukraine? Who is the ending of the war going to favor? In this case, will Donald Trump allow the Russians to keep the territories of Ukraine that they have seized, that they have won since the war started? Which, if it happens, it means that the West is admitting defeat and it's going to create a huge problem for Ukraine, for Europe, and for the United States. This is also because I do believe the most radical elements in Ukraine are going to come to rise. They are going to rise. And the United States and the West are going to be in big trouble. They are going to pay in some way or others. However, for Donald Trump himself, it is going to be a situation that he himself is not going to like in terms of his presidency. Now, my friends, this is just supposed to be a brief comment or statement. Once again, that the war in Ukraine has approached the 1000th day. As much as the article seems to be telling us what's going on in Ukraine and the current state of the war, it seems to be anti-Russian. Now, my friends, I'm going to end here. Please tell me what you think, and I want to hear what you think. But most especially, I want to thank you for being a member of the Echoing Voice community, my friends. And also, I want to thank you a lot for watching the Echoing Voice. Peace, my friends. Peace.